Welcome to the Lancaster County Super Fair 4-H FFA Swine Show. They are a little bit behind. They are done second call for senior showmanship. We can see them lining up now. And in the back, you can see the swine pens. It is a hive of activity.
Thumbs up, Harry. Ready to start? All right, we're going to begin our first class. We're going to introduce our judge here first, Mr. Ty Groff. He grew up in Angus Seatock operation near Monroe, Nebraska, where his family sells bulls and heifers. He grew up showing pigs and cattle in 4-H and FFA. He graduated from the University of Nebraska, where he was a member of the collegiate livestock judging team. Ty currently works as an account manager at Heartland Builders. Ty and his wife Haley and daughter Harper currently reside in Kearney, Nebraska. So a round of applause to our judge who's coming from Central Nebraska today. All right, we're going to get our arena started here. First class, class 1, senior showmanship. We are ready to start. Okay, second call, class 2, senior showmanship. Second call, class 2, senior showmanship. Start bringing your swine to the check-in. Second call, Class 2 Senior Showmanship. Second call, Class 2 Senior Showmanship.
Well, good morning. Excited to be here in Lincoln and to evaluate your pig show, but more importantly, work with the kids and I guess just gain their knowledge and I guess see how they present themselves, showing their respective pig. What a beautiful morning we have for a pig show, man. It's nice and cool. Judging earlier in the week, it was not very much fun. So I'm going to enjoy the nice and cool morning that we have. What a great start to the show today in terms of senior showmanship. The three that we pinned, I think, just did a little bit better job in terms of control and how they present themselves in terms of presentation and posture. I guess the biggest thing I'm looking for is control. Driving your pig to and from me, showing me all the different angles and keeping your pig's head up and keeping your pigs moving. The three that are in the pins, we're going to come back for finals. I think all three of you could probably work on maybe just keeping your pig moving at all times. I think the pace, I like to see these pigs move pretty quick. But I think in terms of control and how you present yourselves, you guys did good. Out here, I think that's the biggest thing. I guess judge awareness, eye contact, knowing where I'm at all times. And then just keeping your pig out of traffic and keeping your pig moving and keeping your pig's head up, I guess is things that we can work on. But a really nice way to start. If you guys would ringside, let's put our hands together for these exhibitors on the job well done as they exit the ring.
In the arena now is our Class 2 Senior Showmanship. We'll have first call, Class 1 Intermediate Showmanship. First call, Class 1 Intermediate Showmanship.
another really nice group of individuals and that are working really hard, and I think a really competitive group. I apologize for taking a little extra time there, but I think I just wanted to make sure that I got it right, make sure that everybody got a fair shot in that particular division. The three that we pinned are going to come back, and then this young lady with the white sock female is going to go ahead and come back as well for finals. I just think in terms of how they control their animal, I think they had the most control in comparison to the remaining contemporaries in this particular heat. Yeah, we could still work on spacing is probably the biggest thing in this particular drive. Always, I guess when I'm standing here, divide the ring in half. So a quarter of the ring and then a quarter of the ring to stay out of. Stay in the center portion of the ring. And so on and so forth. Always stay within 10-15 feet, but don't be right on top of me the whole time as well. That way I can actually see your pig. That's very helpful. I guess you four individuals, we could just work on control, maybe just pick up the intensity just a little bit. And I guess when we're whipping our pig, just whip it with I guess the right demeanor, and make sure that we're actually moving the pig and not just petting the pig. But we also don't want to hurt the pig. So I think a really nice a group of individuals. Excited for the finals. If you guys would, let's put our hands together for these exhibitors on a job well done.
Second call, Class 1 intermediate showmanship. Second call, Class 1 intermediate showmanship. Start bringing your swine up to the check-in, please. First call, Class 2 intermediate showmanship. First call, Class 2 intermediate showmanship. We will have the judge bring these purple ribbon qualifiers for the senior showmanship out to the arena here, and we will pick our reserve and our champion senior showman from this next round. Final call, Class 1 intermediate showmanship. If you do not have your swine in your check-in, you need to do this now, please. Final call, Class 1 intermediate showmanship.
a very competitive group, and I'm still struggling on trying to figure out who I'm going to use for reserve out here. I think, I guess, just some basic fundamentals of showmanship. For your younger kids that are going to be coming here, if I pin you and then I release you in the finals, show me your pig, whatever your angles are, show me your pig, and then get the heck out of here. It's just sportsmanship to give everybody a fair chance to show themselves off to me one-on-one. That's just a little bit of a pet peeve of mine. I guess maybe we struggled with that a little bit here in senior showmanship. Then I went to the corner and I just didn't stare at the crowd for no good reason. I wanted you guys to go in front of me and show me your pig there too. So I guess just a couple different little things. Always keep the pig in between you and me. That way I can always see your exhibit. I guess for champion, I think there's one that's just been dominant and steady out here the whole time. I think that they've been the most consistent. They're cool, they're calm, and they're collected, but at the same time they're showing some intensity, which I appreciate. I think they have the most control over their pig. I think they give me the most angles. Every time I look one way, right there they are. For reserve, I do think it's really close. I think a guy or a judge can go 2 or 3 different ways out here. There's a couple times that I thought I had a reserve, and then maybe we just got lost in the mix or for 5-6 minutes. And so I think just always be consistent, always stay out of traffic, and you'll do just fine under me, no doubt. So I think I'm going to give you guys one more good look here. I'll show you my 2 favorites. If you guys would, ringside, please put your hands together for these exhibitors on the job well done.
All right, congratulations to our senior showmanship, winning senior showmanship. This is, our champion is Austin Davis, and then reserve is Chloe Cutler. Entering the arena now is our first class of intermediate showmanship. Second call, class 2 intermediate showmanship. Second call, class 2 intermediate showmanship. Start bringing your swine to the check-in now, please. Class 2 intermediate showmanship. First call, reserve the junior showmanship. All right, while we have this little break here as we get our intermediate showmanship, in the stands you should have some pink slips. These are our People's Choice Awards. This is where you decide your top 3 exhibitors. You want to put their exhibitor number and or pig number so that we can separate those out. And there is a prize or trophy for our People's Choice Award at the end of our swine show. In addition, that is your entry into the Smithfield Farms hams. That is your drawing ticket. So make sure you complete that and turn those in. There's a box up here by the announcer stand, so when you have that completed, you can turn those in and you will draw for hams at the end of the show.
A nice way to start out our intermediate division, and the 2 individuals that attend, I think just in terms of presentation and control, I think they definitely get the nod in this particular heat. I guess that's all I'm looking for right now is just somebody to come out here with a little bit of control, kind of show me a couple different angles and stay off the rails and stay out of the corners and just stay in the middle of the ring at all times. I think you exhibitors that are going to be dismissed in the blue ribbon category, I think that's probably the biggest thing we can work on. Keep your pig off of the rail, off of the corner, and just have a little bit more control. Maybe show just a little bit more intensity and enthusiasm out here. But I think you guys are all still working really, really hard, and I appreciate you guys coming out here for showmanship. If you guys were at ringside, let's put our hands together for these exhibitors as we dismiss.
All right, entering the arena now will be our second class of intermediate showmanship. You will pin those that are purple, dismiss those that are non-purple, and then we'll bring the balance out to declare our intermediate showmanship champion and reserve champion after this class. Second call, junior showmanship. Second call, junior showmanship. So start bringing your swine up to the check-in at this time now, please. Second call, junior showmanship. Juniors, if you are showing the junior showmanship, you start bringing your swine to the check-in at this time, please. Final call, junior swine showmanship.
Another nice division in terms of our intermediate heats. I think the two individuals, just had the most control. They're showing me the different angles that I'm looking for, and so I appreciate that. You four out here, I think you're doing better than in the last group for sure in terms of keeping your pig off of the rail. we can show just a little bit more intensity getting your pig on the south side of the ring. I guess that's kind of what we're struggling with as we're working through showmanship a little bit through all the heats. We need to keep our pigs using the whole ring. In terms of eye contact, we could probably work on that in this particular group. I think maybe judge awareness. Maybe we didn't know where I was at all times, and maybe we were just following our pig. So a little bit more control, a little bit more intensity, and just knowing where I'm at all times will get you in the pen for sure. If you guys would ringside, let's put our hands together for these exhibitors as they dismiss the ring.
All right, we will now bring the purple ribbon that has been pinned back out to the arena to find our intermediate showmanship champion from the reserve. Final call, junior showmanship. Please bring your swine to the check-in now. And I was just reminded, I need to make this announcement, if there's any peewee showmen that want to come out to the arena, line up a pig now, and we'll do that after junior showmanship. If there's any peewee or clover kids that want to come into the arena and show a swine, we can get that going as well. Just talk with another 4-H'er to get yourself arranged to do so. Peewee showmanship at the conclusion of junior showmanship.
I think all four of these exhibitors are doing a tremendous job out here. I think they got their control down. I think in terms of posture and presentation, how they present themselves, how they present their pig, I think they're doing a really, really nice job out here. For champion, I don't think it's really that close. I think there's an individual that's just more my speed, more my type, and I guess looking back on when I used to show, I think that I was pretty close in how I showed in comparison to this individual. We can work on a couple different things in terms of how we turn and how in terms of don't step in behind your pig when I come on the other side. Always step in front of your pig. To always keep your pig in between you and me at all times. For reserve, I also don't think it's really that close. I think it's a two-horse race for champion. I think, but there's still, I think, a line that we got to draw. And then, between second and third, I think there's the same gap in terms of that. We could, for the reserve champion, we could probably work just a little bit more on our pace. I think maybe we're just driving a little bit slow out here at times. Maybe we get lost in the traffic every once in a while. I think the control is really, really good. I think just in terms of eye contact and judge awareness, I think you do a really nice job. And I think our pace are starting to wear down, and I have my mind made up. So if you guys would, ringside, let's put our hands together for these exhibitors on a job all done. I'll go show you my two favorites.
All right, congratulations to Derek Bruce, our champion for the showmanship, and Hannah Cavalier, our reserve. All right, into the arena, we'll have our last class of showmanship for this today. And this will be our junior showmanship. Entering the arena at this time. At the conclusion of this showmanship class, we will have our P-Wing showmanship of Clover Kids. If there's any in the crowd that want to do that, get that lined up at this time. And then we'll start our market class show. Again, if you have your pink slips, this is your entry into the ham giveaway at the end of the Swine show this year. It's also your People's Choice Award ballot. So get those turned in as they box up here by the announcer stand. All right, we're going to have our first call for Class 1 super lightweight in the market swine. First call, market swine, super lightweight.
A very, very competitive group of our junior showmen, and man, you can tell that these kids are having a lot of fun out here. Probably a couple of the kids first time in the show ring, and so I think we want to make this an enjoyable experience for everybody. I think everybody's working hard, and I think everybody is doing a good job in terms of knowing where I'm at all times. And I think in terms of control, honestly, probably the best division in terms of control, keeping the pigs moving and that kind of stuff. So I want to congratulate all of you kids out here. I think you're doing a really, really good job. For champion and reserve, I think honestly, I think it is a 2-horse race. I think it's between 2 of them pretty easily. One of them is a lot faster, for sure, but maybe not the most control in terms of turning their pig right before the rail. Sometimes every once in a while we catch them getting to the corner or getting to the rail, but when they get their pig back out into the center of the ring, I think they do a really, really nice job. And then for the other one, I think that's in contention. We do have a control. There's no doubt about it. We're always in the center of the ring. I guess for me, my type and my kind, I like them to be fast-paced. I like to let these pigs run laps, and you follow them. I guess with the most control, and so we need to get these things motoring. In my opinion, it's the easiest to evaluate the pigs when they're going around the ring at a high pace. So I do think it is close. I've been preaching control all day, and so I'm going to be consistent on that. Young man with the blue bud, you're going to be champion. Congrats to you. For reserve, like I said, I thought it was close, and I think the one that is going to get reserved has just been really, really good in terms of pace. Control gets a little bit washy, kind of like right now. I think we get maybe just a little bit caught up in a corner, get caught up on the rail, but man, when we get outside into the middle of the ring, they know what they're doing. We just need to focus on turning your pig just a little bit quicker, because he knows where the exit is. And so I'm going to, I guess, keep rambling on the mic until we get this fixed here, because I do think very, very deserving. They've done a really nice job. Young lady right here in the middle, you'll be our reserve champion. Congrats to you.
Congratulations to Maddox Bruce, our champion this year for junior showmanship, and Alyssa's runner-up as reserve. All right, we will have any Pee-wee showmanship. Pee-wee, Clover kids. Any Clover kids in the crowd that want to show? Now's your time to shine. Come on down. Any TV showmanship? Looks like we have a couple down there. We'll do our second call, super lightweight as well. Second call, super lightweight, as we start our market swine contest for the year.
Hey buddy, what's your name?
Yeah,
What is your pig's name?
donut.
Donut? How'd you come up with donut?
I don't know.
That's a different breakfast item than I was thinking. What do you feed donut? Do you know?
No clue.
No clue. Donuts? You should feed him donuts. You should give him a donut after the show, okay? Are you having fun?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part of fair?
Banana roller coaster.
Roller coaster. Are you going to show pigs in the future?
Yeah.
Great answer. You're doing a really good job. Keep up the good work. Can you give me a high five? Good job, buddy. What's your name?
Donut.
Donna, what's your pig's name?
Cookie.
Cookie? How'd you come up with Cookie?
Put my cousin's name. Pig is Donut.
Oh, you guys are cousins. Cookie and Donut. Do you feed him cookies?
No.
Oh, what do you feed him?
So he eats grass and he rolls.
He eats grass and he rolls around in the mud. Do you help walk Cookie every day?
No.
No. You're supposed to say yes.
Yeah, but I didn't do that.
Oh, right. Well, thank you for your honesty. What is your favorite part of fair?
Roller coaster.
Roller coaster with your cousin?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Are you going to show pigs in the future?
Mm-hmm.
Good. Are you having fun today?
Yeah.
Good. Can you give me a high five? Good job, buddy. What's your name?
Rebecca.
Rebecca. What's your pig's name?
Scarlet.
Scarlet? How'd you come up with Scarlet?
Because she's red.
If she's red. That makes logic sense to me. What do you feed Scarlet?
Soybean and corn.
Soybeans and corn. Do you help with Scarlet every day? Yeah. Are you having fun today?
Yes.
What's your favorite part of fair?
I don't know, the animals.
The animals? That is a great answer. I was looking for that the whole time. You win. Are you going to show pigs in the future?
I don't know.
Say yes.
Yes.
Good answer. Can you give me a high five? Good job. Honestly, probably one of the most important divisions that we do all day. I'm a big believer in that. A lot of judges, don't really like to talk to the TVs and put them on the microphone and to take their time because they want to get on with the show. But I always try to take as much time as possible with these exhibitors because there's so many different activities that these kids can do anymore, particularly in the summer. And I'm a firm believer that right here in the center of the ring or in the middle of a barn is the best place to raise kids. It's where I was raised. It's going to be where I raised my daughter as well. And so getting them out in the ring and getting them a taste to what it feels like is always important at a young age. And so I guess as they exit the ring, for encouragement, if we could, let's put our hands together for those exhibitors.
All right, congratulations to our Clover Kid exhibitors this year. Nice round of applause for them. All right, so let's get started on our Market Swine program for the 2025 Lancaster County Fair. We'll bring our first class of super lightweights into the arena at this time. Super lightweights are not eligible for overall. Please be aware of that. Super lightweight, class 1, enter the arena now, please. First and second call, class 2 lightweight. Class 2 lightweight 1, Marcus Swine. Lightweight 1, class 2, please come to the check-in, please. First call, class 3 lightweight 2, Marcus Swine.
Really nice class, and I wish that this blue pig was big enough for overall, because I think I'd be excited to see him in the final drive. I know we're just starting, but I think a good little rascal for sure. He is really good in terms of his feet and legs. I think he is big in terms of his feature. He's got a really big foot, and he's got a really stout forearm. He comes at you with the stout skull as well, and he leaves you with the wide pin set. A guy that you get right on top of, and he's got a lot of muscle shape. He's working a lot of freshness right there over the top side of the skeleton. A guy that you really like in terms of his structural integrity. A guy that I wish was just a little bit heavier for overall contention. The young lady who's predominantly white barrel is going to go next, and I think in terms of his feet and legs, I think he's built right. I think his angularity and his build and design is correct. For me, maybe we can open him up just a little bit at the base of the skeleton. We could give him a shot of fresh smooth animal muscle shape over the top side of the skeleton as well. Maybe make him just a little bit more attractive in how he utilizes his hip and hind leg. But I think a really nice pair. If you guys go ringside, please put your hands together for those exhibitors. Our job all done.
All right, in our check-in, we should have our Class 2 lightweight, Class 1, around 1, Marcus Swine. Should be 5 in this class, correct? All right, Class 2, lightweight 1. Lightweights will be eligible for overall final drive. Our champion, reserve champion, the lightweight. All right, we have all 5. Final call, Class 3, lightweight 2. Final call, Class 3, lightweight 2. Start bringing your swine to the check-in, please. All right, final call, Class 3, lightweight 2. Class 3, lightweight 2, final call. Make sure you bring your swine to the check-in, and we will find our lightweight champion here after that class.
Interesting class to sort, and I think it's a little bit challenging because my favorite one doesn't really want to cooperate. Young lady with the chromed up barrels can go ahead and win. I think just does so from the profile. He proportions extremely well from the side. He sets his neck really high at the point of his shoulder blade. A guy that's really cool looking from the side. And one that when he gets out and goes, man, he's flexible, he's athletic. One that you really like in terms of his build and his design. Could he use a shot of fresh meat animal muscle shape? Yeah, I think he could. But I think a guy that's got enough genuine muscle to go ahead and win this class. Young lady with a polka dotted, combed up gilt is going to go ahead and go second. She is fresher in terms of the back shape and how hard she is and how crisp she is right behind her shoulder blade. A female that I really like for her muscle composition. I guess a female that maybe just doesn't proportion like the one that goes ahead and wins. I like to set her neck higher at the point of her shoulder blade. A female that we could like to extend in front of her shoulder blade as well. When she gets out and goes, I think from the profile, we could soften her up in terms of the center portion of her body, make her proportion and balance just a little bit better from the side. But market fundamentals is one that you really gotta like. Young man with the hand preparing barrels and go third. I think just the meat and potatoes kind of a pig in this particular class. He's really practical in the center portion of his body. He reads, easy feeding. A guy that just gets out horsed today. One that reads just a little fragile in terms of his bone work and his feature. A guy that's just a little bit lighter in terms of his muscle shape. He reads just a little plainer when you get right on top of him. A guy that can use a shot of fresh meat animal muscle shape as well. Now the young lady's tricolored gilt that's right here in front of me is going to go ahead and go next and go forward. The one that you really like in terms of how big hip she is and a female that's opened up at the base of her skeleton. I guess for me, we get a little rounder and a little coarser off of both ends of her skeleton. We need to simply square her up. But in terms of her upper hip structure, we need to pick her up. In terms of her neck and her shoulder blade, maybe give her some more angularity there. The one that's going to round out the class, I think from a muscle standpoint, I think you got to like. I think she's got a lot of muscle shape over the top side of her skeleton. A female for me, she just doesn't balance from the side. She's really frail in terms of her bone work. A female that reads really hard in her typing time. We simply need to soften her up everywhere you study her. Really nice class, interesting top pair. You guys look ringside. Put your hands together for those exhibitors on the job. Well done.
All right, entering the arena now is our second class of lightweights. Class 3, lightweight 2. Could be 4 swine in this round. Class 3, lightweight 2. After this class, we will determine our overall lightweight market swine champion. First call. Pick a pig, market swine middleweight, class 4. First call, pick a pig club, market swine middleweight, class 4.
nice and easy class to sort, in my opinion. Young man that just put his pig in the pen and can go ahead and win, and I think does so rather handily. A guy that this gilt I think has enough muscle shape over the top side of her skeleton. She's definitely the freshest in terms of her condition and her muscle shape. A guy that when you get him out in motion, I think is probably the soundest off of both ends of her skeleton. Yeah, we could pick on her a little bit. We can elevate her in terms of her front end assembly, and we could square her up right when she comes directly at me. Female that wants to get in at her knee ever so slightly. Young lady that's going to go second, I think just does so from a muscle standpoint. She's the next freshest one in her condition and how much muscle shape she genuinely has. She does come at me with a wider chest forward in our class winner. I guess for me, when we get her out in motion, just a gal that's just a little too hard in her type of time, we simply need to make her more practical and softer in the center portion of her body, make her read just a little bit easier feeding. The one that's going to come next, young man's tricolored gilt, is going to go third. A gilt that you really like in terms of how much substance and dimension that she possesses. I guess for me, I think a female that just becomes too stale and too plain in her makeup, we could freshen her up in terms of her presentation and freshen her up in terms of her muscle shape. But I love that one's feature. I love how much product that female brings to us. The young man's blue-blooded pig is going to go next. One that's really good in terms of her rib cage, and one that you gotta like there. If it was me, I'd probably show her in the breeding gilt division. Just a female that gives up a lot of power and substance up top. A female that's a little closed up at the surface as well. She simply needs to be cracked open from sternum back. A female that needs a shot of fresh meat and a muscle shape. Nice class. You guys, we're ringside. Put your hands there for those exhibitors. Hard job, well done.
All right, while we bring back into the arena our lightweight champions from the first two classes, we have our second call for Pick a Pig, middleweight, class 4. Second call, Pick a Pig, middleweight, class 4. Please bring your swine to the check-in now, please. First call, class 5, middleweight 1. First call, class 5, middleweight 1.
We're going to make this short and sweet because I think the decisions are rather easily in my mind. I think there's two of them that just match what I'm looking for in terms of proportionality, muscle shape, and I guess the skeletal width and how they motor across the ring, even though the one's not really wanting to cooperate with us. The two pigs out of our first class in this particular division will be your champion in reserve. Congrats to them.
All right, congratulations to Alyssa Bruce as our overall lightweight champion, and Chloe Cutlers is our reserve. All right, next is our Pick a Pig. First class for our Pick a Pig program. Middleweight class 4. Entering the arena at this time. For those in the crowd not aware, Pick a Pig is our homegrown Lancaster County swine club. This is designed for youth that maybe do not live directly on a farm or do not have a farm or agricultural connection. We make the opportunity. Harry Murbach has graciously obtained for them some swine to show. They raise them out of his place, north of Lincoln. We've been going on for almost 15, 16 years, going on, pretty close to that. So our homegrown group has exploded. I think at one time we started with 9 members, and I think at one time we had 40, 45 in the last couple of years, so it's exploded tremendously. Round of applause for our Pick a Pig program. It's doing very well.
I think a really nice class here. And before I talk to pigs, I want to thank you, Harry, for doing this program for these kids that maybe live in town and giving them the opportunity and showing them the way to the livestock industry. I really appreciate that. So if we could, everybody, let's give him a big round of applause on his gracious support to this particular show. That means a lot to me, and I think if given the opportunity, if I lived in town, I for sure would take up that opportunity, because I think this teaches you a lot of life lessons, and especially about responsibility and accountability. I think in this particular class, the young lady's blue-blooded gilts can go ahead and win, and I think does so rather handily, just in terms of practicality and functionality, and how much actual true mass and power she simply possesses. A female that comes at you square and wide off of both ends of her skeleton. I really love her rib design and how good she is in the center portion of her body. A female that you could still stouten up. And in terms of her bone work, you could still stouten up. In terms of her back shape as well. But I think a female that you really gotta like for what she brings to the table. A young man's gilt, that's going to go next. I think a female that is a long body, high-performing kind of a gilt. I guess for me, maybe just a little too frail and fragile in terms of her feature. A female that we could level out in terms of her back design and her top line. She gets a little rounder off of both ends of her skeleton. She reads just a little too hard in her type of kind for my liking. Really nice pair. If you guys would though, let's give these exhibitors a nice round of applause.
All right, entering our arena now is our Class 5 Middleweight 1. Class 5 Middleweight 1 should be in the arena or heading towards that direction at this time, please. Final call, Class 6 Middleweight 2. Class 6 Middleweight 2, final call. Please head to the check-in now, please. At the end of Class 6, we will determine our medium weight champion, Marcus Swine. Again, don't forget to turn in your pink slips for People's Choice Awards. Get those turned in. There's a box up here by the announcer stand. Final call, Class 6, Middleweight 2. Final call, Class 6, Middleweight 2. Please have your Swine in the check-in arena now, please.
Sorry for taking a little extra time there. It's hard for me to evaluate livestock when they're all in the same corner. And so I guess just moving forward, if you guys can, let's get them out of the corner. Get them in this corner, I don't care. That's a lot better than that corner. So try your best. And I guess if you get them in the middle of the ring, don't let them go back that way. I guess in this particular class, I think it's a 2-horse race between the pair of them that I got pinned in here. Young lady that goes ahead wins. I think just does so from a build standpoint. I could stand with my stomach, I guess in terms of his build, just a little bit better than the one that goes in second. a guy that has a little bit more angularity off of both ends of the skeleton. Man, he's opened up at the base of his chest floor. He's got a really big pin set as well. I think he's really fresh in terms of his top shape. Does he read just a little bit harder in his type and kind? Yeah, I think so. But a guy that you just got to appreciate for what he brings to the table in terms of proportion, design, build, and muscle shape. Young guy, tri-colored one that's going to go next. I think in terms of muscle shape has the most in this particular class. There's no doubt. He's got the biggest back. You can sit on his back. That's how wide he is, and I think he's really opened up at the base of the skeleton. He's really big in terms of his feature as well. I love the circumference of foot and bone. I love how stout he is in terms of his skull shape. I guess for me, he gets all too round off of both ends of his skeleton. We simply need to square him up on either end and give him a little bit more mobility and fluidity, I guess, in how he travels off of both ends of the skeleton. Young man in the corner is going to go third, and I think I really like this pig from the side. I think a guy that's proportion is really nice. If we can get him out of the corner and just get him driving, I think he looks a lot better. Because a guy that sits in the corner and squeals, he just reads just a little too counterfeit for my liking. We simply need to freshen him up in terms of fresh meat animal muscle shape. He needs to be stoutened up in terms of his bone work as well. Young man with the white barrel is going to go next, and I think a barrel that you like from the side as well. I think he balances up nice. I think in terms of how much mass he has up high, I think we could stout him up. And in terms of his bone work as well, when he comes directly at me, that's where the most disappointing factor about this particular pig. He's all too closed up. We simply need to bust him open right there in terms of his sternum and give him a little bit more mass all the way underneath. Young lady with the Burke appearing barrel is going to go next. Tall, lengthy, kind of a guy that you gotta really appreciate in terms of what he brings to the table, in terms of how much power and substance he has over the top side of his skeleton. I guess for me, when he drives directly away from you, I guess he just needs more right there in terms of the seat of his pants. He needs to be more explosive right there for sure. He can be freshened up in terms of his muscle shape. No doubt. The one that's going to round out the class, long spine, big framed, high performing kind of a female. I guess for me, we can lengthen her out in terms of her blade. We can lengthen her out in terms of her neck and I guess and her hip and make her more level there. A female that just comes all too round and coarse off of both ends of her skeleton. She could be busted open as well. Nice class. If you guys go ringside, let's put our hands down for those exhibitors on a job well done.
All right, entering the arena now is our Class 6, our second class of middleweights. Class 6, middleweight. First call, Class 7, Market Swine, Pick a Pig program. Pick a Pig, Market Swine, Heavyweight, Class 7, first call. Please start bringing your swine to the check-in now, please. Pick a Pig, Market Swine, Heavyweight, Class 7.
A nice way to start, and it makes this decision in this particular class pretty easy. Young man's chrome got strike, other females can go ahead and win, and I think does so rather handily in this particular drive. One that's got some feature, one that's got some muscle shape and some freshness, and I think some structural integrity. By far, the soundest one that we have in this particular class. I really like that female to go ahead and win. Young man, that's in the corner, that's going to go in second. One that you like from the profile. I think he proportions extremely well from the side. I love how high his neck sets at the point of his shoulder blade. A guy that's got enough muscle shape over the top side of the skeleton. He reads just a little harder, a little drier in terms of the center portion of his body. When he comes directly at me, we can open him up in terms of his knee. The one that's going to come next, young man's or is it you? My apologies. The young man's white one, that's going to go third. I think from the profile, one that you got to like. He sets his neck up high at the point of his shoulder blade. He proportions really, really well from this side. A guy that gets out and motors okay off of both ends of the skeleton, I guess. For me, maybe just a little plainer in terms of his makeup, a little plainer in terms of his presentation as well. Right when he directly comes at me, we need to open this guy up in terms of the base of his chest for, make him more genuine there. Young man's black one, that's going to come next. I think if this guy is fresh, we could really latch on to him, and if he's mobile, I think you can latch on to him. I think he's got a couple problems. He's all too straight off of both ends of his skeleton. You can tell that he's really, really sore. He's really soft in terms of his passions as well. He's starting from the side, and his lymph node is swollen. He needs to be cleaned up there. When you study him over the top side of the skeleton, he could be freshened up in terms of his muscle shape. His skin and hair is on point. We just need to freshen him up in terms of market fundamentals. The one that's going to round out the class, long-bodied, long spine kind of a guy that's high performing, one that's done well for the young lady. I guess for me, we just get all too closed up off of either end of our skeleton. In terms of our rib design, maybe we read just a little too concave and a little too dry. We could definitely pull that one open everywhere you study it. Nice class, good top pair if you guys would ringside. Let's put our hands together for these exhibitors on the job well done.
All right, we will now bring back into the arena our Class 5 and Class 6 winners to determine our Marcus Swine medium weight champion in reserve. Last call, pick up pay club, Marcus Swine heavyweight class 7. Final call, pick up pay Marcus Swine heavyweight class 7.
Two good class winners in this particular division, and I think that it does get really close. I wish one of them would just come out here and drive and show me what they got, because I think both of them, if you get their head up and get them driving, I think they both represent a ton of quality. There's no doubt. I think it does get awfully close. Young Ladies Barrow, I think one that you just gotta like up from the side. He sets his neck high at the point of his shoulder blade. A guy that's good in terms of his feature. A guy that is opened up at the base of his chest floor, there's no doubt. When we're studying him from the side, he maybe reads a little drier and a little harder in terms of his body type. We can soften him up there for sure, and I think that makes that pig look a whole lot better. We could also give him some more angularity in terms of his knee and his shoulder blade. The one that's going to come, the young man's tricolor gilt that's in the middle of the ring. If this one could just motor for me and come directly at me, I would really appreciate it, because that's my biggest question mark right now is I guess how she comes directly at me, if she's square and if she's true, because the one that's got that much feature, one that's got that much power over the top side of her skeleton, she's opened up when she drives away from you. And the reads that I've been getting, I think she's opened up and square right when she comes at me. A female that you really gotta like. I think maybe reads also right behind, but I think she's more attractive in terms of how she presents and utilizes her hip and hind leg. She's my favorite in this particular division. Congrats to him. Like I said, I thought that pair was close, and if you want to flip-flop them, I'm not going to argue with you all day. I think it is relatively close. I really don't think it's there's a line of quality I can't cross here in terms of presentation and muscle shape. Young lady out of your first class will be reserve champion. Congrats to her.
All right, congratulations go out to Christian Kaiser, who's our champion, middleweight champion this year, and Adriel Skinner is our reserve for middleweight champion. All right, entering the arena now should be our heavyweight Class 7 group from our Pick a Pig program. Heavyweight Class 7 Pick a Pigs. Entering the arena now, please. At the conclusion of this class, we will bring up the two winners from the middleweight to determine our overall Pick a Pig market champion. We get Eli Tassemeyer and Hannah Simpson to bring her their middleweight. Back up in the arena for our overall Pick a Pig, please.
A nice great class for a Pick a Pig, and I think it's close between all three. They're all very similar in their type and kind. I guess the one that's going to go ahead and win, I think, just has the most product and most substance to him. I think he's the most opened up at the base of the skeleton. Yeah, we can fix him up in terms of his structure integrity, fix him up in terms of fresh meat and muscle shape, but I think he's got the most genuine muscle shape of this particular class. The one that's going to go in second, I really like this one in terms of a rib design. A female that is good right there in the center portion of her body. She can be freshened up as well, and she can be opened up at the base of her sternum and the base of her chest floor. The one that is going to get third in this particular class, just a long-bodied, high-performing kind of a female that has done well. I guess for me, maybe just reads all too fragile and frail in terms of her bone work. She's all too closed up on both ends of her skeleton, and reads maybe just a little flatter in terms of her rib design. Nice class. If you guys went ringside, let's put our hands together for those exhibitors on a job well done. we're going to make this short and sweet too, and these pigs are cooperating, and I think these young exhibitors are doing a fantastic job out here, so I want to commend you guys for working hard. I think it's pretty simple. I think there's one that wins rather handily, and then I think a reserve that kind of get wins by default, but is definitely the next best pig. And so, young lady out of your middleweight division will be your champion. The young lady out of your heavyweight division will be reserved. Congrats to them.
All right, round of applause for our Pick-a-Pig champions, Hannah Simpson, and then Emily Crawford is our reserve. Good job, Pick-a-Pig program participants this year. All right, entering our arena is our final class of market. It's our Class 8 Heavyweight 1. Class 8 Heavyweight 1. Second call, Class 9, Heavyweight 2. All right, as we get down into the final half of our Market Swine program, don't forget to turn in your pink slips for your People's Choice Awards. There's a box down here by the announcer stand to put those in. That's also your entry into the ham giveaway at the conclusion of our swine show. One announcement on that, please make sure you are putting the swine ear tag number, not the exhibitor number on your sheet. The swine ear tag number, not the exhibitor number, please.
Nice class, and I'm glad that young man made it in time, because I think that pig's pretty good. And the one that's going to go ahead and win the hand preparing gilt, one that, man, she's got so much feature to her. She's got so much circumference of foot and bone. I love how stout she is in terms of her skull shape. One that's opened up when she comes and goes from you. Is she a little harder in terms of her type and kind? Absolutely, but I think in terms of the remaining contemporaries, I think she wins this class or wins it for fun. The one that's going to go in second, I think one that's in terms of practicality and functionality, one that you got to really like. I think one that's opened up at the base of the skeleton, one that's got enough freshness over the top side I guess for me, from the profile in comparison to the one that goes ahead and wins, maybe just planes up in terms of skin and hair, planes up in terms of how he proportions from the side as well. Young ladies, blue butted barrel, that's going to go next. Kind of resembles the one that goes in second, one that's opened up when he comes directly at you. I guess for me, the deciding factor between second and third, right when he leads you, he needs a little bit more there in the seat of his pants, in his lower leg, and his lower hand. A guy that kind of just falls out and planes up right in that department. A guy that, when you study from the profile, one that probably needs to be stopped up in terms of his bone work. He could use a shot of fresh medium and muscle shape over the top side as well. Young man that's in the corner that's going to go next. I think just in terms of composition, one that you've got to like as well from a market standpoint. That one's done his job in the easy feeding. I guess for me, just planes up all too much from the side. When he comes and goes, he's all too closed up as well. He could be freshened up in terms of his muscle shape, and he could be blown apart as well. One that's going to round up the class, one that you probably like in terms of his rib design, one that's probably the furthest along in terms of his degree of finish. A guy that's probably a little bit too far in terms of my liking. We need to stouten this guy up in terms of his bone work. We simply need to give him some fresh, genuine muscle shape as well. A guy that is just a little too counterfeit for my liking. Nice class. You guys went ringside. Let's put our hands together for those exhibitors on the job well done.
All right, in the ring now is our Class 8 heavyweight, round 1. We need Class 9 heavyweight 2. Class 9 heavyweight 2 should be at or close to the check-in now, please. All right, this is our Class 9 heavyweight, who will determine the overall heavyweight champion from Class 8 and 9. We need to have the champion and reserve champion from the market Swine lightweight and medium weight report to the check-in now so we can determine overall market Swine. Please have lightweight, and medium weight champion and reserve champion. Please report back to the check-in.
Nice top pair here in this particular class, and I think there's some give and take between a young man that's to my right to go ahead and win, and I think this does so from a practicality standpoint. One that's just better in the center portion of his body, one that is wide as a freight train. I love when he comes and goes, how wide he is in terms of his chest floor and his pin set. A guy that maybe just comes a little straighter in terms of his shoulder blade, comes a little straighter in terms of his knee. I guess for how much mass that this guy possesses, we could certainly scout him up in terms of his bone size and his feature for sure, but that's being critical. Yeah, young man's barrel, that's going to go next. I think a guy that, in terms of freshness and how hard he is over the top side of the skeleton, you got to really, really like. What this guy possesses in terms of his feature, you got to really, really like as well. I think he is huge-footed. He is stout forearm. He has got a big old hip in him as well. A guy that you really, really like in everything. I think he's very good in terms of a proportionality, from a proportionality and balance standpoint. I guess for me, maybe when we read him in the center portion of his body, he becomes all hard and in terms of his type and kind. We can soften him up in terms of his rib cage. He reads just a little concave in my particular liking. We make that guy practical. I think he wins and wins for fun. The young lady that's going to go next, I think one that has opened up at the base of the skeleton, one that's practical enough for sure in terms of the center portion of her body, simply just would be freshened up over the top side of the skeleton as well. The three remaining pigs that are going to round out the class, I think all have a lot of similarities for sure. I guess for me, just structural correctness, how open up they are at the base of the skeleton kind of sorts them. They all need to be freshened up in terms of their muscle shape, no doubt. Really nice class, good top pair. If you guys would inside, don't put your hands together for these exhibitors on the job well done. having ourselves a showmanship lesson, and as well, I think it's really, really close. And so I was just giving them some tips on what they needed to do and to help me out, I guess, make this decision. I'm going to talk them, and I'm going to talk them in a little bit more detail than I have. Young man's gilt. Man, you just absolutely love this one from a muscle standpoint, in a feature standpoint. She has got big limbs, she's got big feet, she's got a huge skull, and I love her head shape as well. When he actually gets this one shown in drove, she gives you a really good look from the side. I think she elevates her shoulder blade. I think she elevates her neck really, really well, and sets her neck pad at the point of her shoulder blade. A gal that maybe you can critique. She could probably be just a little softer in terms of the center portion of her body. But man, that thing is square when she drives away from you. She's a good-looking rascal, and I think one that is just so good in terms of her feature. When she comes at you, I think we finally got a good look right there at the end. I think a female that comes square at the base of her chest for, she still comes square in terms of her knee as well. She does want to toe in ever so slightly, but that's being really, really critical on one that I like quite a bit. You get on right on top of these two, and she blows the barrel away in terms of how big her back is, in my opinion. The barrel you gotta love from a practicality standpoint. I think one from the side, I think in terms of his center portion of his body and his weight design is really, really good. I think he's got enough muscle as an individual, there's no doubt, and you study him over the top side of the skeleton. I guess for me, maybe comes a little straighter in terms of his shoulder blade, a little straighter in terms of his knee. A guy that when he finally does come directly at me, and we kind of struggle with that, walking or taking a straight line. And when he comes directly at me, a guy that's a little bit closed up at the base of his chest for, a guy that wants to toe in ever so slightly, he's really straight. In terms of his shoulder blade, that's why he's not wanting to pick his head up, because it's not comfortable at all for him. And so I think there is some give and take between the pair. I'm a build guy myself. I like some feature, and I think we got enough practicality in the one that I'm going to use to win. Congratulations, young man with the gilt. You'll be our champion heavyweight. We bring that second place back out here, and I really don't think it's that close. I thought that pair was really, really close, and you can flip-flop it if you want to. I guess just my priorities, and I like genuine muscle shape. I like some feature. Young man with your heavy barrel is going to be your champion, or reserve champion. Congrats to him.
All right, for our champion and reserve champion for heavyweight, Marcus Swine will be Isaac Lockheed is our champion, and Derek Bruce is our reserve. Those two will stay in the arena here as we bring in our middleweight and lightweight champions to determine our overall Marcus Swine winner.
really nice a market show that we had here at the county fair, and I think that there's a lot of quality for sure, and some particular classes. I thought they were pretty competitive, and in some particular divisions, I thought some decisions were really hard. I guess I'm going to make this pretty simple. I think it is pretty simple out here. I think that there's a really good pair of them. And the one's not out here, but congratulations to your heavyweights. They'll be your champion in reserve.
All right, we need our breeding gilt contestants. Come forward, please. Breeding gilts. All right, so slight change here in the program. So if you listen up, this is your final call for People's Choice Awards. After our breeding gilt class here, we are going to start drawing for hams. So you essentially have 5 minutes to get your People's Choice Award entry in if you wish to be receive a ham this year. 5 minutes at the conclusion of this. Then we would do our class of 3 over in the arena, and then we will have all the 4-H's and FFA's report back to the arena, and we will do carcass results. So we'll go in that order. Breeding swine, drawing for the hams, pick a 3 in the pens, and then carcass results. All right, final call. People's Choice Awards, final call. Remember, we want the ear tag number of the swine, not the exhibitor number on those, please. Ear tag number of the swine, not the exhibitor number.
We're going to go ahead and dismiss the four that are out here. I'm going to talk them a little bit. The young lady that's going to go fifth with the blue-blooded gilt, one that you just got to like from a maternal standpoint. She's big and burly in terms of the center portion of her body. I love her maternal characteristics. I guess for me, maybe we get a little too round off of both ends of her skeleton, maybe a little straighter in terms of her shoulder blade and her knee. Young man's Burke is going to go next. And I think one that she had a rib cage in her, we could really like and tie into because I think she's good in terms of her feet and legs. I like the extension in front of her blade as well. We simply need to blow this one apart in terms of the center portion of her body, maybe level her out in terms of her top line as well. Young ladies, that tri-colored gilt, that's going to come next. One that's long-bodied and extended, and one that you got to like in terms of her feature. I guess for me, maybe just a little too closed up, or when she comes directly at you, and then you get on top of her, maybe one that's just a little flatter in terms of her rib shape. The one that's going to round out the class, the young lady that's on the rail here, high-performing, big frame kind of female, one that I think if a little bit more time, we could put a rib cage in this female. We can make her more maternal and blow her apart there. We can be stout and up in terms of her bone work as well. Nice class. We're going to rework the top four. Those will be purples, and we'll pick a champion and reserve out of them. Let's give those kids a nice round of applause as they exit the ring. I kind of had my mind made up before we dismissed them, but I thought it'd be a lot easier just to talk about all four of these if I broke them up in ribbon categories. Young man that's going to win the breeding gilt show with the chromed up female right here in the middle of the ring. One that I just love from a proportionality standpoint. I've seen her in showmanship and I fell in love with her there and I didn't see her in the lightweight division. I was like, oh, okay, she must be coming in the breeding gilts. I was waiting for her, and then a female that comes at you so square off of both ends of her skeleton. I love her extension in front of her blade. I think she's good enough in terms of the center portion of her body. I just love that one from a structural and design standpoint. Congrats to him. The one that's going to go second, I think one that has got a big back, no doubt, and one that has a lot of muscle shape out of the backside of her blade. A female that's good in the center portion of her body. She gets a little down in terms of her front end. We could simply elevate her there, elevate her neck in terms of how high she sets it on top of her shoulder blade. A female that gets a little rounder out of her hip. but I think a female that in terms of maternal characteristics you really gotta like. The one that's gonna come in third, a young lady, tri-colored polka dotted one is gonna come third. One that probably fits better in a market show, in my opinion. Female that's opened at the base of her skeleton. She's got a huge back and a huge hip. It kind of works to her disadvantage. She comes kind of in pieces in this particular drive. She gets a coarse off of both ends of her skeleton. We square her up and lengthen her out in terms of her front end, lengthen her out in terms of her hip. You gotta really like that one. The Hereford gilt, one that you gotta like from just a maternal standpoint. I think she's functional. I think she's practical. A female that's good enough in terms of her feet and legs. She just gets out horsed today, and particularly in the Hereford breed. I guess that's the problem. We don't have a whole lot of muscle shape. When we come and go, I guess a female that just needs to be blown apart in terms of her sternum back. A female that can use just a shot of muscle shape over the top side. Really nice division. If you guys would, one more time for me, put your hands together for those exhibitors on the top of the button.
All right, we are almost to the end of our slideshow. So I need, if you are doing pin of 3, either for a club or a chapter or individually, you need to get your swine organized now. The judge is going to be coming around to judge your pin of 3 very quickly. While he's doing that, we are going to start drawing for our Smithfield hams, which is one of our favorite things we do, right, Don? How many we got this year, Ron? 16. All right, we're going to start drawing. You must be within earshot of the announcer or the speaker. And again, it's one hand per family, so if multiple family members, you get the whoever draws first. We keep that so we spread it out. At the conclusion of pin of 3, we will have all swine exhibitors report back to the arena to do carcass results. You must be wearing your livestock exhibitor t-shirt and your exhibitor number. Correction, we have 24 hams, 6 in each box. Give us about 3 more minutes. We're going to finish entering some entries here. First one, Jack Jurgens. Jack Jurgens. Jack, where you at? Jack Jurgens. Stephanie Werner. Where you at, Stephanie? Elena Cutlers. Elena Cutlers. Beth Bruce. Beth Bruce. Vicki Clark. Vicki Clark. Nita Skinner. Anybody in here wanting hams? Apparently not. Glenda Mock. Glenda Mock. If I announce your name, you gotta come get it, otherwise I'm moving on to the next name. Tara Vanderford. Tara Vanderford. Elena Simpson. Elena Simpson. Come forward, come all the way down to the announcer stand if you need to. Stephanie Polk. Stephanie Polk. Mary Alice Bartek. Mary Alice Bartek. Riley Tassemeyer. If I announce your name, you need to come get it, otherwise we're moving on to the next name. Vanessa Welsh. Vanessa Welsh. Tammy Cook. Tammy Cook. Cord Rocker or Tad Rocker? William Powers. William Powers. Moving on. Maurice Bonney or Bone. All right, moving on. Felicity Rockenbach. Felicity Rockenbach. Kim Campbell. Kim Campbell. Justice Skinner. Justice Skinner. Justin Kluge. Justin Kluge. Mike Crawford. Mike Crawford, right there in the white. Paula Peterson. Paula, where you at? I know she's here. Ed Hicks. Ed Hicks. Ed, are you here? Karen Miller. Karen Miller. Cheryl Johnson. Cheryl Johnson. Margie Harmon. Two left. Christine Monk. Christine Monk. Brandy Gunnarsson. That is it. That is it. All right, we're going to do carcass results. Carcass results now. All right, we need to have all 4-H swine show exhibitors that have submitted a pig for market carcass contest report to the arena. You must have your livestock exhibitor shirt and exhibitor tag on you to be eligible for that. Yeah, we're getting scared away, and we'll be finishing up here. And we'll announce pin of 3 as well here shortly. We can do that right now then. All right, pin of 3 market individuals. There was 3 scratches. There was no winner on that one. We do have, however, some club chapter awards. Pin of 3. First place there was Jude Clark, the overall champion for that, and Timothy Eigelhoff was second for pin of 3. Correction, we have that switched around. Tim was first and Jude was second on that one, sorry. I think we're still waiting for a couple more kids to come down here for the carcass contest, and we're getting some squared away here. So as I read your name, all right, we'll bring 3 people out there. We'll have our, if you get a blue ribbon, you need to come see Hope. Madeline, if you have a red and purple, Elena will be handing out purples for us. All right, we are going to read from red, blue, to purple, to end up with purple. All right, so in no particular order, in red, we have Skylar Bruce, Dalton Shakowski, Elise Jorgens, Trevor Gentry, and Adam Graybell. Those received red ribbons for their conference contracts. Receiving blues, Emily Crawford, Greta Rogers, Timothy Eichelhoff, Josie Graybell, Riker Barth, Rebecca Hathaway, Jackson Bruce, Harper Cortez, Maria Polk, and Hannah Simpson. Those received blues for their swine carcass injury. Purple ribbons, Liam Powers, Chloe Swartz, Jackson Bruce, Timothy Eigelhoff, Karen Swartz, Aiden Powers, Christian Kaiser, Blake Davis, Elena Simpson, Mackenzie McCoy, Jude Clark, Isaac Lockheed, and Christian Kaiser. Then, our top 10 finishers for carcass contest this year. In reverse order, 10th, Alyssa Bruce. 9th, Eli Kassemeyer. 8th, Reese Rockenbach. 7th, Rachel Hoffman. 6th, Augustine Werner. 5th, Adria Skinner. 4th, We have Isaac Lockie on here twice. Rachel Coate was third. And then our reserve champion is Chloe Cutler, and Nora Bruce is our champion. Then we have tabulation for our People's Choice Award, correct? All right, in third place, People's Choice Award, Isaac Lockie was our third place. In second, Maddox Bruce was second. And in a very close 883 to 885, Riker Barth by 2 points wins People's Choice Award this year. Riker Barth by 2 points. And that, I believe, is the conclusion of our 2025 Lancaster County Swine Show. Congratulations to all exhibitors. We'll get you awards and premiums. If you are missing a premium or a ribbon, please report to the livestock office and they'll get you squared away. Thank you very much for showing up.
Thank you for watching the live stream.